Hey everybody, I'm David with Bolivar Live, and it's week 3 on meeting Team Aran and Franklin. And today we have Rachel with us. Chandra, tell us a little bit about Rachel and what all she does for you, and then we're going to talk to her about job description because
Yeah,
uh,
absolutely. Rachel's awesome. It's Rachel Riley. She's been with me since January of 2013. So she is deep in Team Aaron and Franklin. She started off as an engineer, then she got her engineering training license, and then she got her PE license. So she's been here, working under me and under my dad for years. She was fortunate. She started right when my dad was transitioning out, so she did get the wealth of his knowledge, which I'm so thankful for because he was just, I mean, we still call him for stuff
oh, do
sometimes,
you?
so because he's such a great person to bounce things off of. He's
Right.
got such great experience. But Rachel, her degree is in structural engineering, and so she's excellent at structural engineering. She's head of our engineers and drafters. So she's, looking at our whole production schedule, helping with clients, dealing with problems, looking at training, new technologies, and then of course mentoring all these young engineers and drafters that we have coming up. So, uh, and I mean, I couldn't do this without her. So, because if
Right.
she wasn't doing the engineering, I'd have to do it all. So,
Oh,
at least gives me a chance to like run things and not have to
there,
do every
there,
single thing. So,
there's a big debate on Bolivar, and I got to ask her because she made a comment. Structural engineer, big debate over here.
okay.
Round versus square on pilings.
What's the question? Like, which one's better?
Yeah, which one's better?
Round piling are actually going to be stronger. You're not cutting the strength rings like when you cut a square pile, you cut straight through those natural strength rings. There's also the fact that like when the water hits it, it rushes over the sides. It's not hitting a flat surface. So you can use say a 10-inch round where a 12 by 12 square would be used. So they do have more
Yeah,
strength.
for smaller piling, you get better capacity. So that's where we end up having to use those a lot, especially when we don't have, where we can't, in the GLO area, front, beach front,
Hmm.
where we can't use regular concrete to kind of lock all those together and we have to use fiber pavers. Those work a whole lot better. And plus, you can get a smaller pile, um, and people prefer that, and
Yeah.
if I was going to build a house, I'd probably use rounds. And
Would
just
you?
if I wanted a square look, I'd box it out because it is definitely stronger. But I mean, that's
I
how
was
we.
just, that's always been a
Yeah,
big question because there was one contractor over here that used them, and then a couple more have started using them. And then
mhm.
pilings during the pandemic were hard to find.
Yeah,
And
they
so they
were.
were grabbing anything they could get hold of as long as it meet the standards. And so, me personally, I just like the square, but that's always been a question. What's better, the square or the round? And so you may actually save money going
Mhm.
with a round because you can get a smaller piling.
Yeah, when you look at
That
the end of that pile, you can see like how the rings are,
Hmm.
and all the edges are cut off. So you're really getting a net section that's a lot smaller than that square pile.
Right. Cool. Well, Rachel, day to day, what's your job? And describe to us a little bit on what you do on a day to day basis and how you interact with some of your customers.
So I take a lot of phone calls from the field, whether it's the contractors or our inspectors with questions about our plans or situations that arose where something got built incorrectly and we've got to find a fix that works, or alternative solutions for
Mhm.
something if something's not available, like beams or Simpson strong walls, or, if a client decides they want to add a window on the fly, which happens
Right.
quite often.
We were
So we've
talking
got
about that a couple of weeks ago.
Okay. Yeah. So, other than that, I do the management tape stuff for our engineers, time tracking, all this kind of stuff, make sure everybody has a project to work on. Um, and then when it gets to the engineering, I do the windstorm engineering and the structural, so we analyze the roof, the shear walls, the wind load, the flood loads, And then you've got the gravity loads. So I work on a lot of different types of houses. I do mostly residential. Chan likes to pull most of the commercial stuff because she's got a lot more practice with that. But I do the residential and even like the higher end residentials or the ones with really complicated
Architects,
open rooms or a basketball goal, or I mean, they've got all kinds of stuff that's
Rachel did a really cool house that where they did like this lady did this like dancing studio kind of thing, and it had these like ribbon poles that you were dancing and swinging on in this house, and we had to design it to hold the roof system to hold this whole swinging system. It was crazy.
Oh man.
Yeah, she actually taught classes there out of her house. So because she wanted to have the studio in her house for like private lessons. So that was pretty neat. We do a lot of the hurricane recovery. So I take a lot of those projects. Chan has some of them also, mostly because they have such a tight time frame, and so we are really good at prioritizing those to make sure that, like the government projects and recovery systems, they get their houses on a very quick turnaround time.
You're displacing people from their homes. So we're trying to get those done. And there are two kinds usually. There's elevation projects where we're lifting like the whole entire house, and there's ones where we're rebuilding a whole new house. So both of those get like a priority because people have been, displaced from their homes, and we're trying to help these contractors in the government program turn these over as fast as we possibly can. Rachel's great at
there's
that.
also the house elevations. A lot of people after a hurricane want to lift their house, and either they find a program for it or they do it themselves. But we've done recovery projects for dozens of hurricanes since I've started. Harvey, the superstorm Sandy in New Jersey, let's see, Ike, and then of course all the recent ones, whether it was just small jobs here or there or an actual project. So
I know during Harvey and Imelda, I know several people that raised their homes because they flooded during Harvey, and then a year later or something, 2 years later, they flooded again in Imelda, and they said, that's it, we're going to raise our home. And they really turned out, even with a slab, it wasn't homes down here. These were slabbed homes.
Yeah.
But the way they did it.
We do it all the time. It's crazy. Actually, we're awarded the contract to do the engineering for the Galveston County elevation program. And so we're about to start contractor selection and, getting the first awards for that.
Good.
So Rachel will be instrumental in making sure that program, goes off without a hitch as well.
Great.
Yeah, we've also done like rehabilitation programs. That was actually when I started. We were doing, I believe it was an Ike rehabilitation program. They did over 600 homes where they just rehabilitated, homes that honestly they were in the historic district. So there were certain things that we had to do to keep it looking authentic. And we've also joined into like programs like the Fortified. We've got the Galveston is the IBHS Fortified, and then we've got the Safer Living, which I think is the Gold, Bronze, and Roof. So those
Fortified Safer Living is Beach Town, which we're the only engineers that do that. Well, I mean, Rachel does most of it now, but my dad started doing it, and then I took it. And now Rachel does it. So I still have to do all the paperwork, but she does all the fun stuff, which is the design part. Cool. And then, the fortified home, I would say the most fortified homes right now we do are more like in the Corpus area. Like they're really big into that now that they're doing the Harvey recovery. And, a lot of those houses that we're doing for fortified are some of them are wood frame, but a lot of them are ICF. And ICF is, and Rachel will probably tell you a little bit more about what ICF is, but we're seeing a lot more people building both on the ground and elevated homes with ICF. And it's, I mean, talk about, insulation properties and longevity, it's top notch. So what's an ICF?
ICF.
So, ICF is insulated concrete forms. So basically, instead of, building forms or doing tilt walls or anything like that, you just lock in these forms, and I mean,
they're like insulated Lego blocks, basically.
Yes, basically. And then you put in your rebar, and you pour the concrete, right? And so I do these elevated. We've done them on slab, it can be with wood piles or concrete piles. If you're doing elevated, you can do a concrete roof or a wood roof, trusses, anything like that. It really works well. And usually it's the outside houses or outside walls, so like inside you can do the wood walls, or the metal studs have been cropping up a lot lately. Um, Mostly for longevity, and for IBHS, I mean, combining those two, it's even better. Like, you've got this like extremely sturdy house, and IBHS doesn't add a lot to our designs, but it's a certification and helps with insurance and honestly a lot of the peace of mind for homeowners, because they know that it's built strong.
Yeah, it's built to that code plus, so they know that it's going to have that extra longevity, and anything that they put into it on the front end, they're going to be recouping that through their insurance premium reduction on the back end. So it's really a win-win.
Cool.
It's just getting people to commit to doing it on the front end because it's new, and anything new, and I mean, we say it's new, but really, David, it's not new. Like, it's been around 20 years. Okay, so it's new, but it's not. It's been proven. I mean, and after every single storm, they go out and evaluate homes and see how they performed, and that's one of the things that I have done, and Rachel has done. Is after these storms, we'll go out and look at things and say, okay, how did this perform based on how we designed it, and what can we do better the next time? And so we're always looking to like try to improve like how we calculate things, what we specify. I mean, we don't want to over engineer stuff, but on the flip side, we want to make sure that it has a good value. Like, it's got good longevity, it's a good product. I mean, there are minimum requirements for a reason, and we can accept minimum requirements, but then we have to think, is this the best way to design this for best use? And Rachel is really, really good at coming up with lots of options for the clients that, kind of blend that, need for a financial economy versus, how it's going to perform over time. So, she's great with that.
Yeah, and with all the hurricanes recently, I mean, a lot of clients are going for anything that's gonna, have their house surviving.
Right.
10 hurricanes that it seems like are gonna be hitting in the next couple of years.
Don't say that. We have one.
Yeah, we've got one.
Ruined,
We've got one out there now as we're recording this, but hopefully this front will knock that one down, and we'll be in good shape. So, well, Rachel, thanks for joining us today. Hopefully I don't need your services on the rebuild part of it anytime soon, but I'm on Bolivar, so you never know what may happen.
Hey, we do additions all the time. So,
Well, David, let me tell you, one of the things that I told Rachel a long time ago, I said, I want to be able to sleep when a hurricane comes through. We're going to design stuff to where I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to make sure that, I said, if it's a 5 and it comes through, well, that's beyond what the design, requirements are. But, I'm sitting in the dark again. Why is that light? Okay. So, it's beyond the design requirements. So, but we want to make sure that we're sleeping fine whenever that next storm comes through, whatever it is, whenever it is.
If a 5 comes in here,
nobody's sleeping.
Better worry.
We're just gonna start over, David.
Well, that'll work. Well, Rachel, nice meeting you today, and we're gonna head on out. Until next time, I'm David with Bolivar Live. Y'all have a great day, great week. Come see us. God bless, and bye-bye.